This visualization shows the operational reality of SAP Convergent Invoicing. The system constantly receives high volumes of raw billable items streamed directly from convergent charging. Before generating a single invoice, the system applies a mandatory, non-negotiable Step 1 grouping protocol to every piece of incoming data. This baseline protocol forces incoming items through a sorting filter, requiring exact matches on contract account, business partner, and subprocess. It rejects items diverging on even one field. Without further logic, Step 1 dumps all matching items into a single, massive global billing document. For complex enterprise architectures handling varied services, this baseline default is functionally insufficient. Generating a single invoice prevents businesses from separating charges by vital metrics like distinct currencies, varied service periods, or separate company codes. To achieve that separation, the architecture requires a secondary routing layer. That secondary routing layer is the grouping variant. During processing, but prior to creating the final invoice, the system dynamically determines exactly which grouping variant rule set to apply to the data. To select the correct variant, the system evaluates specific parameters: the active billing process, the designated subprocess, and the invoicing category. The chosen grouping variant defines strict boundaries of the billing unit, the intermediate container dictating the eventual invoice's shape. These boundaries can split a unified data pool by distinct company codes or isolate specific internal divisions. By defining these precise boundaries, the grouping variant organizes the monolithic data cluster into separate business-compliant invoicing structures. To understand how these boundaries are built, we have to look directly at the SAP configuration environment. The configuration path resides under Contract Accounts Receivable and Payable, proceeding through Convergent Invoicing, Billing processes, and finally, Define Grouping Variants. This specific SAP GUI configuration screen is where the billing units and document items are physically parameterized. The grouping variant executes its logic using a specific field, the grouping characteristic. Grouping characteristics are technical fields pulled directly from the FKK-NV_trig structure used for invoicing orders. If standard fields like a source document number or contract reference are insufficient for a business case, architects can define custom fields and derive values using specific function modules. These grouping characteristics serve as the absolute rules mapping raw data fields directly to the final boundaries of the created billing unit. Let's apply this logic to a practical business case. A company, Martex, provides Service A, which requires high-volume consumption items to be grouped together by precise usage dates. Looking at this raw data model for Martex, you can see multiple consumption entries populating across different dates and times for the exact same contract account. To parse this out, Martex configured two specific grouping characteristics: Rate First, which is the target rating date, and CITFO, the start of the consumption period. During processing, the system scans this Martex data pool, looking for exact matches on those two designated characteristic fields. This visualization shows the variant in execution, scanning the dates and sorting the items into separate rating and billing units. Items displaying a consumption date of May 3, 2014 form one distinct unit, isolated from the items occurring on May 4th, which form another. Because of these grouping variant parameters, Martex's single contract account will generate multiple chronologically separated billing documents. At this stage, it is critical to separate the concept of grouping variants from aggregation variants. Grouping variants establish the structural walls of the billing unit itself. Aggregation variants, conversely, operate inside those established boundaries. This screen shows Martex's configuration of an aggregation variant labeled ZAGV, which utilizes the characteristic CIT-CRDA, tracking the creation date of the item. The aggregation logic is functional. The system looks inside a defined billing group, finds items that share the exact same creation date, and consolidates them to reduce system load. The mathematical result of this consolidation is clear in this model. Multiple distinct line items compress into a single row, outputting the final consolidated number in the item's quantity or total field. The governing rule is precise. Grouping dictates the number of separate billing documents generated. Aggregation dictates the number of distinct line items contained within those documents. The grouping variant also dictates the data linkage between incoming billable items and final billing document items. This diagram illustrates the most granular extreme, a strict one-to-one relationship between a single originating billable item and a resulting billing document item. The broadest option is a blanket assignment, where all selected billable items merge and are assigned to all billing document items in that unit. The architect configures this linkage based on the customer's requirement for either a highly itemized invoice or a simple financial summary. This linkage granularity determines the readability and auditability of the final financial document from the end customer's perspective. While these grouping rules rely on high-speed automation to function at scale, enterprise billing occasionally requires human intervention. To address this, SAP provides an exception protocol, executing billing runs in dialogue using expert mode. In expert mode, the system pauses execution at step 4, after the automated billing units have been drafted, but before any final data is posted to the ledger. The system presents proposed units in a dialog box, allowing consultants to manually override rules and alter the assignment of source documents to billing units. Furthermore, if manual override is needed systematically, companies can implement custom grouping proposals directly into the code using Event 2601 to handle recurring anomalies. By defining data boundaries while retaining points for human intervention, grouping variants provide the essential framework in convergent invoicing, balancing automated sorting with architectural flexibility.